shifting stateside, let's talk about Christian Miller. This is amazing. I always looked at the 10-second 100-meter barrier for high schoolers as like one of the last remaining holy grails in high school running. Until last year, no high schooler had ever done it. And then Isama Singa did break 10 seconds last summer, but there were a whole bunch of caveats attached to that. He did it at the end of July at the South American Championships after graduating, representing Suriname. And then he was later suspended for testing positive for a banned substance. That whole case, he's provisionally suspended. That whole case is still ongoing. So it was just like, that's not really the most satisfying way to see the 10-second barrier. This one, Christian Miller, there's no doubt about it. He's runs 9.93 at the Pure Athletics Spring Invitational at Claremont. That's the same meet that Asinga beat Noah Lyles last year. He's 17 years old. He's still in high school, hasn't graduated yet. Creekside High School in St. John's, Florida, outside of Jacksonville. He's the youngest man in history to break 10 seconds. Not only that, he's the youngest by almost a full year. He was 17 years, 340 days old when he broke it. Isama Singa was 18 years, 211 days when he did it, and he was the previous youngest last summer. And this is not some like out of nowhere. I mean, it was a sizable PB. Claremont, you can run fast with a big win there. It's a good track. But he ran 10:06 last year when he won the 100 at the USA Under-20 Championships. That was a world under-18 record. Now he's set the US Under-20 record and is also the 2024 world leader. And yes, it's only April 20th, but just amazing. Like, it's very exciting. He's going to be at the Olympic trials this summer. Basically by default, he'd be running anyway, but the US is not sending a team to the World Under-20 Championships. So he cannot run that even if he wanted to. But it's going to be really exciting to see how Miller does the rest of this outdoor season.
I mean, this is nuts. When Asinga last year was talking about being a factor at Worlds, I was like, a high school kid? Now, it's way harder in this case because there's no way he can make the Olympic team, right? I say that, yet he's the world leader. So today's age, you can't rule anything out. I want some sprint guy to tell me, how are these young kids so much faster? You're not seeing the top end sprint times be that much better. I know there's slightly different shoe technology, but not as much as in the distance running. But man, the future is bright for this kid. He's a Georgia commit. And I guess now, NIL, you can get some money in college, but the question for him immediately is like, is he actually going to go to Georgia?
Well, you say there's no way he could make the Olympic team.
What?
I mean, I think it's incredibly hard. This is the hardest Olympic team to make in any country in the 100 meters. It's one of the hardest Olympic teams to make, period. You have the last 3 world champions in this event. Noah Lyles, Fred Curley, and Christian Coleman. But 993 would have put him number 7 on the U.S. list in 2023. That's a finalist. And, if you get some injuries in there, like, his chances aren't 0, which is insane to say for a 17-year-old. I don't think they're good, but they're not 0.
Robert's got a look of disbelief on his face here.
I was kind of barely paying attention while I was looking up some stats. Then I heard someone say his chances are close to 0 for the Olympics. Are you crazy? Does your memory go back at least 3 years? Do you remember what happened 3 years ago? The Tokyo Olympics.
Erriyon Knighton made the Olympic team. He finished 4th at the Olympics as a 17-year-old high school junior. I don't think I said they were close to 0. I said they're not 0. And I wouldn't bet on him making the team. But
this is good for me.
He's a freak talent. Like, could he make the team? Knighton would be your example, right, Robert?
Correct. And my Noah Lyles fear meter is going down by the minute. This is great for me. I just need 3 guys to peak in June at the trials. Over peak. You get your peak 100% right, make the team, knock Noah Lyles off the 100 team. Then whatever. So this guy's amazing.
And then you go down as a horrible human being for rooting for Noah Lyles not to make the limit team just because you make some crazy bet on or
Fair enough.
proclamation on Let's Run. But I'm the one who said there's no way he makes it, meaning essentially like there is a way he makes it. Like it's it's hard for me to fathom that a high school kid could do it, but Knighton is a great example. I'm just saying you're in the equation if you run 993. But then if you go there, John, you make the US team in the 100. I mean, like, you got to think you can win the gold medal. I mean, that's the next step. So we're getting ahead of ourselves. The kid is 17. Can we just appreciate the sub 10? Like, but I love it. I guess maybe I still want to know from somebody because we say, oh, Bolt was a once a generation talent. Knighton's a once a generation talent. A Singa, okay, there's some situations going on there, but there's a thread in Let's Run saying he may be cleared. And now Miller?
Yeah, no. If you look at the list of the 4 youngest men ever to break 10 seconds, 3 of the 4 have done it in the last 3 years. It was Tobogo in 2022. It was a Singa last year, and now it's Christian Miller this year. And I think you got to put this performance into context. The spin on like he could get even better is he's 17. He just made a huge improvement. Like he might not be done improving. The other, I mean, I think he'll run faster at some point in his career. It might not be again in 2024. But then the other thing is it's Claremont, which is he had a nice tailwind for this. It's a pretty fast track, and it's April. If you want to be competing, still running fast at the end of June, that you got to hold that level for a while. Now, I will say he ran his best time of the year last year at the U.S. Under-20 Championships at the end of the season. So I think his whatever coaching setup, they seem to figure it out pretty well last year. But you can make the case both ways. I'm just excited to see how he does. There's no doubting he's a monster talent.
I wonder how the college commitment thing works. I should know. Since I was coaching at Cornell, I didn't care about the signing window. If I want to get paid twice if I go to college. I want NIL money from the boosters to actually go to the college. So, because if you go to Georgia or LSU, by the way, when he announced it live, he had all these hats on the thing, and then he took off his jacket or something. He showed LSU purple colors. Everyone started cheering, thought he was going to LSU, and then underneath that, he had Georgia stuff. So the poor, I feel bad for the LSU coaches who thought they had him for about 10 seconds. But I'm assuming he can't renegotiate it. I want to get the NIL from the boosters, and then I want to get the NIL from the shoe companies as well. I talked to someone last year about a Singa. They were speculating, do you really want to pay $1 million for a Singa to be on your track team? Now, I don't know if that meant like per year or over 4 years. I'm assuming it's over 4 years. But kind of guaranteed like 20 points in NCAA definitely tips you. You're almost halfway to the team title. That may seem crazy, but I was at a birthday party at the zoo on Sunday. By the way, I ran into a guy who's a Supporters Club member, father of a kid in my son's school. Glad to have you on board. I have to get in shape to run with him, John. But this other dad was saying that he was from overseas. He's like, yeah, American colleges are crazy. The school this lady that I work with, her son, he got a full scholarship for lacrosse. And I think he's going to like George Mason or George Washington, James Madison, something like that. And then he said, and he's getting $200,000. I was like, for lacrosse? Because I keep calling these college coaches and they act like they're not paying much NIL for track, if any. Then I hear from other people they are. I did hear someone say to me, another coach told me, he's like, this is all going to end poorly soon, though. Because these boosters are not going to want to be paying out $200,000 every year.
Well, lacrosse is also a sport that sort of has a reputation for rich alums, right? That's viewed as sort of a white collar sport. So I don't know. Actually, while we're on this topic, Robert, of money, should we just go to the Mark Zuckerberg 5K?